Just good morning to everyone. A little bit of sort of housekeeping. If you are a bit hard of hearing or would like to see closed captioning, I believe at the bottom of your screen where you'll see the 3 dots and it says more. And you can click on that. There'll be a drop-down list, and there is something called live transcript, which I believe will bring up some sort of closed captioning, if that would be a help to anyone. Okay. The chat is open, so if you have a question, you can type it in there. Although on Sundays, we usually have less of a crowd, so if you'd like, you can also just unmute yourself and ask your question. All right. And so I think we'll just go ahead and get started. It's about 2 after the hour. My name is Farah Knudsen of Knudsen Knits. I am located in Provo, Utah. And I think I'm getting the light from the ring light. So I'm going to take off my glasses. I started Knudsen Knits in November of 2020, so sort of right smack dab in the middle of the pandemic, but for me, that seemed like a good time. I love knitting. I've been knitting for about, off and on, I should say, for about 30-something years, and have really gotten back into it, I would say, in the past 10 to 12 years. I just wanted to create a space with Knudsen Knits for makers of all kinds, not just knitters, but crocheters. And I know some people use knitting yarn to actually weave with, so weavers also. But I think those of us who are here, we value the tools of our craft, and especially breed specific yarns if we can get it, or we try to be as local as possible to kind of minimize our carbon footprint on the planet. And also with these breeds, these American breeds, which I try to specialize in, we're keeping the genetics of these heritage sheep alive. We're keeping these animals from going extinct. So yeah, even if you're using just one skein along with something that's already in your stash to make a project, you're helping quite a bit. And oh, excuse me just a second. I'm getting a low battery reading on my screen. I need to plug in. I thought it was plugged in, but let me plug that in and I'll be right back. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so like I said, American breeds of wool. I go around to different farms, small farms, local wool growers here in the state of Utah. I select my fleeces and then I bring them home, skirt them, and then I send them out to different, as local as I can, fiber mills. So I have one in Salt Lake City that I use called Spinderella's. They're about maybe 55 minutes from me. I've just found another new fiber mill here in Utah. It's more of a 2-hour drive. So I will be sending some fleeces to them soon. And then I also use a mill in Montana because they do woolen spun, and that's the spin where it's very light and airy, and I just love the feel of it. And then a mill in Michigan, which is very well known. It's a larger mill. Most of the other mills that I use are sort of more local mom and pop mini mills. I could go all into how the industry has really taken a hit over the past, I would say 70 to 100 years. And so there are fewer and fewer mills in the US, but thank goodness for these mom and pop places that are kind of springing up all over. And it's helping to keep the industry alive. All right, we only have about half an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the yarns. And actually, I'll start with letting you know, most everything behind me from here to about here are my farm yarns, the yarns that I go and I get my fleeces and so forth. And then everything else from here, about here on down, and I will have to move the camera a bit, are commercial bases that I hand dye. All right, so starting with, I'm going to start with the Montana mill and that woolen spun yarn that I was telling you about just a moment ago. I sent to them some Targhee, and this is it. This is the natural cream color, and hopefully the light is not glaring too much. And this is a 2-ply worsted weight in the woolen spun, so you're getting 100 grams and 145 yards in the skein. This is so squishy. That woolen spun makes it so squishy. It's so much air in it. And you would think with all that air and the loftiness of it that it would that it wouldn't give you good stitch definition, but it does. I actually finished a cowl, and to the point where I still have to, excuse my ends, I have to weave in that end. Let me stick it in here. But this is the Killadoon cowl, and I haven't even blocked this yet, but look at those cables. And then there's sort of it's not really a seed stitch. I don't know what the designer called it, but you can actually see that. And then the twisted rib on the side. I love this. It's nice and soft. Your texture stitches pop. So if you wanted to make something like something a little bigger, like a vest that had cabling and textures, you would still see all of that, but it wouldn't be heavy. It wouldn't be a heavy sweater. And that's what I like about woolen spun. It's great that way. All of these here are natural sheep colors. I just love them. I'm going to pull down a couple of these for you to see. This is just Rummelsdale, which is also considered a heritage breed. If you know about the Livestock Conservancy, this is one of the breeds on their list. Rummelsdale, it's considered an American fine wool breed. And it was developed in the early 1900s in California. I've had this one made up into a 2-ply fingering. It's 460 yards in 4 ounces. And this was sourced and spun in Utah. Throw that over there. This one is also Rummelsdale. It's considered the Rummelsdale CVM, and the CVM just means that it's called California Variegated Mutant. It doesn't sound pretty, but it feels good. This is 100% Rummelsdale. It's coming to us from a ram named LJ. LJ is from a farm up in northern Utah. This is a 2-ply fingering, and it's 510 yards in 4 ounces. And this color is called milk chocolate. That's what the shepherdess who owns LJ calls his fleece, is milk chocolate. More of an oatmeal color. You can kind of see the difference there. This is more of an oatmeal color. Again, it's Rummelsdale. 3-ply sport, 400 yards. All right, and I'm going to show you a couple of samples that I had made up. This is the Rommeldale, this is the LJ, and sort of a lacy pattern. So it does well with lace if that's what you're trying to, if you have a stitch pattern that you're doing. This is the oatmeal, kind of next to it. And then I have the cream. Oops, that's backwards. And I just love the variation. I think a lot of people who don't knit or crochet, they think, oh, sheep, they're all the same. They're all white. That's it. Janet has a hand raised. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I did. I just, before you get too far into it, that cowl that you showed us, at the very first one you showed, what was that made with again?
Oh, it's called Killadoon. Let me type that in. Killadoon cowl, and it's on Ravelry. The designer is Erenine. I think I'm spelling it correctly. Erenine, E-E-N. Erenine Designs. There you go. This cowl, like I said, it's very easy to memorize. I would say the only thing I would do is in between when you're casting on and before you start the actual stitch pattern, to put in a stitch marker so you know where the different stitches are. It took me 3 tries because I was so impatient. And on the 3rd try, I had to put in just to keep them separate, so I know where I was starting cables, where I was starting the twisted rib, that sort of thing. This took 1 skein and a little bit of another to finish off. I was like right around in here.
What was the name of the yarn too that you used in that?
Oh, sure. This is the Targhee, T-A-R-G-H-E-E. This is the T-A-R-G-H-E-E, the Targhee wool. And it's listed on the website as Targhee. I'm trying to put it in, list everything by the breed.
Okay, that's all.
Right.
Thank you.
But yeah, but 1 and a little bit more, but you could certainly do this, I think, with just 1 skein if you do maybe 1 less repeat of the pattern. And I think it would still be long enough. I mean, you'd still get, let me come up a little bit, because even as it is, this is coming down, to here. Right. So if you took off 1, like cable row or whatever you call it, 1 repeat of the chart, I think you would have enough for this.
Okay, thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Speaking of heritage breeds, I have more Navajo churro back in. Usually when this comes in, it flies off the shelf. So I had a little bit more come in a couple of weeks ago. This one here is a actually it's a cross. This animal was a cross between Navajo churro and Jacob wool. So with the Jacob, you're getting a little bit more, it's not soft. I'm going to tell you that right up front. Navajo churro is considered a primitive breed. The Navajo people, the indigenous people, use it mainly for tapestries and rugs. However, this is a dual coated sheep. So you can find the inner fleece, when it gets a little bit softer, you can use it for knitting garments. With the addition of the Jacob in this one, I like that for garments. I've had this one made up in a 2-ply DK weight, and you're getting approximately 240 yards in this skein. Right, and then this one here is the natural sheep color, and this is 100% Navajo churro. It's in a 3-ply sport weight. You're getting 200 yards per 4-ounce skein. And this is coming from an animal named Klondike. Klondike lives in southern Utah. A lot of these animals where I will have the name on the skein, not all of them do, but most of those that have the name on the skein ball band are rescue animals. This woman in southern Utah, she takes in a lot of sheep where people they thought they wanted to do a little mini farm, a little hobby farm, and then they find out that it's a lot of work, and they get out of it. And so, she goes to them and says, please, please don't put these animals down. I will take them. And so there are a few others here where the skeins are from the rescue animals. I love these grays. Let me get another one up here. I mean, this is just proof that sheep aren't just white or just plain brown. And just look at the variation here. This I love. This is a 3-ply DK weight. It is so squishy. This would make a wonderful hat or a pair of mittens. It's coming from an animal named Cascade. This is Rommeldale. Excuse me, I don't think I said that. This is Rommeldale in a medium gray, and you're getting 200 yards per skein. This was sourced here in Utah, the fleece, and then I had this one milled in Arizona. And the designation also on this one is called hogget. If you've never heard that term before, hogget or hog, when they're referring to sheep, means it's the animal's first shearing. So this is Cascade's first shearing, and it's a great fleece and a great yarn. A slightly darker gray. This is again a Rommeldale. The animal's name is San Jose. San Jose is again one of those rescue sheep that I told you about. This is a 3-ply DK weight, and you're getting approximately 250 yards in a skein. But I just love that dark gray. Okay. Also in the dark gray or charcoal color, this one is Corriedale. Corriedale is a medium wool, meaning it has a medium crimp to it. It's a great all-purpose yarn. This one is a 2-ply fingering, and I've done it up in a 2-ounce setup with 230 yards per skein. All right. But yeah, Corriedale, like I said, is a great multi-purpose wool, good for sweaters, cowls, scarves, and even a shawl when you're getting into the fingering weight. Let's see, I'm going to pull up. This one here is actually a blend, and I only have a few of these left. This is a blend of, it's 60% Rommeldale CVM, 40% alpaca. So the alpaca gives it a lot of warmth and drape. I'm calling this color Acorn. This is the natural color of the two blended, when you blended the two fibers together. It's a 3-ply sport weight, approximately 4 ounces. Go here and here, a lighter gray. This one is also Corriedale wool. The animal's name is Rosemary. Rosemary is from southern Utah. This is a 3-ply sport, and you're getting 250 yards and 100 gram skein. And then this one, it's the last Corriedale I'll show you. This one is the natural cream color. This is called, the animal's name is Amber Dawn. I've had this done up in a 3-ply fingering. Like I was saying, Corriedale, like this and the other one, Are medium wools good next to the skin? But there's something about Amber Dawn's fleece, it's even softer. This is merino soft. I don't know how that happened or why her fleece was even softer than usual, but this feels gorgeous. And this would make something great up against your neck, a cowl, a shawl. Yeah, this is wonderful. I love this. I'll put this back. My other natural farm yarn, excuse me while I stand up and turn my back a little bit, is Polypay. Polypay is another heritage yarn listed by the Livestock Conservancy. The name Polypay just means many ways to get paid. And so when this breed was sort of bred, they bred it for good meat, good wool, and good milk. And so the natural color is this cream. I've had this done up in both a 3-ply sport weight, sport to DK, and I have just a few of the fingering weight. But I've had this dyed up in a cadet blue, a woodsy green, a twig is what I'm calling this, and then a spring green. And I've had a kit made up with fingerless mitts. They're called the Arthur mitts. And I'll type the name in the chat in just a second. The designer is Kristen Drysdale. She's also known as Scandiworks. She does a lot of Scandinavian type patterns, Scandinavian based patterns. But she's also local to me. She's in Salt Lake City. So I've been able to go to my local yarn shop and take classes from her. And she is absolutely great. If you ever have the chance to do that, please do so. Let me go ahead and put the name of that. There you go. The kit right now is just in the cream and the woodsy green, but you can always, if you find on the site that you want to go with cream and let's say the blue or cream in a more modern spring green, just let me know on the contact me page, and I can put that together for you. All right. And also, so you know, again, for those who are just coming in, the discount code, and I'm going to keep this discount code up and make it good through Wednesday. So through Wednesday evening is free ship 0522. All right. And I'll put it in here again. All right. Speaking about other things you can make, I do have, moving on to the commercial bases that I hand dye. I'm going to move this over a little bit and then move my camera a tiny bit. Hopefully you can get to see a little bit more. I have a sock yarn right now. This is my commercial base. This is 40% Peruvian Highland, 40% merino, 20% nylon for the string. It is marled. You can see it, maybe you can see it a little bit better on this color. So it's the black and then dyed with whatever color that I use, and you get this marled effect. And I did a little shorty so you can see where I did the toe in the brick color and then the foot in cadet blue. But I like the effect that the marling gives when it knits up for that. Okay. I am working on developing my own sock yarn where I'm using either Suffolk or Targhee, and we're going to try to experiment with something like mohair. instead of nylon. But I will let you know how that goes. If you follow me on Instagram, I am Knudsen Knits. And yeah, just follow me to see my sourcing trips. Last month, I took some pictures while I was at a sheep shearing down in southern Utah. We came to help, and it was so much fun, guys. One of my other bases that I love is a merino silk blend. 70% merino, 30% silk. These are fingering weight. These are my spring colors. This is a tangerine. This here is a spring green. Like I said, fingering weight, and you're getting 460 yards per skein. And that silk gives it a nice sheen, not too much, you know, it's not crazy shiny, but just the right amount of sheen and drape. The same base, also in fingering weight. These are what I call my metals, my metal collection. So this is nickel. You get that little bit of a sheen. Steel blue. And then copper. And the shine on that bit of a sheen on the copper is just gorgeous. Let's see. There are some variegated yarns that I do also. So this is carousel. This is again on the merino silk base, 460 yards. You get bits of greens and blues and a when it blends together, there are little areas where it's not quite brown, but you just get a hint of it. This is a new color that I tried out, kind of got it by accident, but I do have the recipe, so I can make more. This is called peacock. This peacock happens to be in a DK weight, and it actually knits up like, let's see, I think I did a swatch that I have not blocked, but anyway, but it will knit up like that. All right. This here is a 100% merino, again, non-superwash. I call this autumn sky. It's a 4-ply worsted weight. I would say DK to worsted, and you get 218 yards and 100 grams. And I've knitted up a sample of that. And it's going to look more like this, which I love. Quickly, I will show you some Peruvian Highland wool. This Peruvian Highland makes a great workhorse yarn. This is in a DK weight. This is cobalt, where you're getting 246 yards in a skein. This one here is I call marigold. I also have this in a woodsy green, which is more of like this color. It's not, this is not the Peruvian, but this is the color. And yeah, and also in a cocoa. I'll show you the cocoa. That's more, sometimes you just need a good basic brown. And I love this, the way the cocoa has turned out. Let's see. Other little things, because we're at the end just about. I have a set of DK weight minis called my China Cabinet Blues. You'll get 5 minis for a total of 100 grams. And again, that's DK weight. I have an American Sheep Breeds. I'm going to have to stand for this, or keep standing. American Sheep Breeds tea towel. And it's just showing 9 different American sheep breeds. There's the Navajo churro down in the corner there. And then you'll see a few in the corner here. There's a little legend that tells you if the animal is on the watch list, the threatened list, or the critical list. And again, like I say, with these heritage breeds and some of those that are like on the critical list where it's hard to really get a lot of these fleeces, just using one skein and incorporating that into some project that you're already working on with other yarns really helps, like I said, to keep their genetics alive and to keep these animals from going extinct. Let's see, somebody's saying, Elise, oh, hi, Elise. I just saw your name pop up. Hey, she says, I own a yarn shop in New York. Your yarn is beautiful. Thank you so much. She's asking a question. I will answer you about wholesaling because I just wholesaled an order yesterday for the tea towels for somebody in California.
Hi,
So,
yeah, I figured you'd get back to me.
Pardon?
I figured you'd just get back to me when you have a minute.
Okay, will
Okay.
do. And I will get let me write down your.
I'll send you my email address. Don't worry.
Okay, yes, if you could do the contact page on the website.
Okay,
And yeah, that would be great. I would be very much interested in helping you out.
perfect. Perfect. Thanks.
All right, guys,
Bye.
I know half an hour isn't a lot of time, so if you have any questions that you were asking about, or if there was something up here that you wanted me to pull down so that you could get a closer look at, please let me know. I thought I heard somebody, but it wasn't very clear. No? All right, then. Well, thank you so much. When you think of using yarns, please remember to use, if you can, American wool and a heritage yarn, just one or two. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Bye.